Okay, brilliant. So to moderate this panel, we have Leonard Schellberg, who is the co-editor of BeInCrypto. BeInCrypto, of course, one of the biggest crypto media outlets on there. So if you'd like to come to the stage now, Leonard, we will welcome you in. Please give a round of applause, Leonard. You take a seat here. Thank you. Next up, we have Benedikt Schuppli, who is the venture partner of Nazare Ventures. Nazare Ventures being a wonderful name, named after the world's biggest wave. Take to the stage, Benedikt. Please give a round of applause. Next to Benedikt, we have Moritz Schildt, who is the CEO and co-founder of coinIX. Welcome to the stage, Moritz. Please keep recording. It's very polite, thank you. And next to Moritz, we have Julian, who is the group CFO of Chiliz. Welcome to the stage, Julian. And last but by no means least, we have David Long, who is the Chief Commercial Officer, who deserves a massive round of applause because he's part of the CV team. Welcome to the stage, David.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our panel on investing in the era of blockchain and AI. Right now, AI is attracting the headlines and the big money, but blockchain may be the foundational rail that enables AI to be trusted, transparent, and investable. So today we will explore why blockchain still matters for investors and how it connects with AI. My name is Leonard Schellberg. I'm editor and journalist at BeInCrypto, covering basically everything around crypto and blockchain. And yes, usually I'm the one doing the interviews, so I'm excited to be today on the stage moderating this panel with you. But before we dive in, I'd like to give each of our panelists the chance to introduce themselves and maybe just 1-2 quick sentences on who you are and what your perspective is. Benedikt, would you like to start?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Benedikt. I'm originally a lawyer by training. I have also helped build a company in the RWA space called Obligate. And next to that, I'm now working also as a venture partner with the venture firm Nazare Ventures. And we invest into early stage AI companies. Some of them do have a Web3 or blockchain angle, some of them don't. But it's a focus on decentralized approaches, whether that's decentralized training, decentralized compute, privacy-preserving technology. So, for example, like one of the panelists that just spoke previously, Provably, that's one of our portfolio companies. And we believe right now is probably one of the biggest value capture opportunities because a lot of the centralized cluster is ripe for disruption.
I'm Moritz, coming from Hamburg, Germany. I'm a lawyer by education. I've been in traditional finance for the last 20 years and set up a company called coinIX, which is managing different investment vehicles, doing investments into blockchain startups, into cryptocurrencies, and then we do some SAFTs, e.g. early token investments, focusing on blockchain, a little bit on AI, but not so much as you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Julian. I'm the group CFO of Chiliz. Chiliz is a layer 1 dedicated to the sport and entertainment industry. 5 years ago, we created the concept of fan tokens, which are utility assets tied to the IP of sport entities that give you voting rights, a share of influence, as well as a way to be rewarded by being a token holder. We have onboarded over 80 teams, if you like football, PSG, Juve, Milan, City, and I could name others. These tokens are tradable on various exchanges, Binance and others. And what we have as part of the layer 1 is also a grant program or a lab, a 50 million lab, where we invest into potential projects with AI or no AI, but they need to be linked to Web3 and sports. We MiCA regulated and are trying to extend to the US.
Thank you. I'm David Long. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at CVVC. I want to thank everybody for being here over the last 2 days, our speakers, our partners, and our incredible team for putting these 2 days together. This is the 11th time that we have done this. CVVC, we are an early stage venture capital firm, so we focus on blockchain technology and AI technology and companies that are building enterprise solutions. So what previously could not be solved, enterprise problems that could not be solved, using blockchain and AI to now solve and scale those. To date, we have 3 venture capital funds. We've made 77 total investments across 22 countries in 12 different industries.
Nice. Okay, so maybe to kick things off in one sentence, where do you see the strongest link between AI and blockchain today? Question to every one of you.
I mean, just one sentence. Try to do one sentence, but it's going to be a longer one. I feel like we need to be very honest with ourselves. Like in a Web3 space, people are building or participating, in crypto or blockchain technology. And I felt earlier this year, last year, when there was a big, let's say, AI agent hype, right? And then crypto people were like, oh, this is where blockchain is going to play the biggest case, because obviously AI agents need Web3 infrastructure and blockchain payments in order to execute transactions. While that can be true and it makes sense for some use cases, it's also not necessarily true. AI agents can also plug into, centralized payment infrastructure. They can plug into Stripe, etc. So I think the biggest value add is where we have, let's say, more anonymous, more decentralized AI infrastructures, where a centralized payment system would kind of defeat the purpose of it. And that's then, I think, where stablecoin infrastructures are going to work really, really well. Most of our portfolio companies, somewhere along their roadmap, they have to decide, we want this to work, decentralized trading, anonymous trading, with some type of payment infrastructure. And that's really then where blockchain comes in. And so I think that's the biggest value capture, providing the infrastructure. And it's less about compliance, but more about that.
Adding to this, maybe as a second sentence, I think for me, having started investing in blockchain back in 2017, things in the blockchain area have evolved much slower than I expected. And now we see an AI hype, which to some extent has fundamentals attached to it, to some extent might be an overhype, but I strongly believe that both these technologies, even though they serve different purposes, will interact in tandem, and together they will be able to build a reliable AI-based infrastructure, which is something which will be the most interesting and valuable trend of the next 5 to 10 years.
I will complement with a third sentence then. Going on the combination of both, I think that's at the intersection where you have the most added value. You have to look at the AI as a bit of a sentiment oracle, the ability to track massive amount of data, not necessarily on chain, can be on Twitter, on Discord, and make sense out of the chaos that you hear, all the noise, in order to provide insights. And these insights can then be fed as real-time data into a smart contract in order to take autonomous decisions, so you have transfer of value. The example I would take would be an AI agent bot, for example, where you will analyze the AI would scout, analyze the market in order to do without any human intervention, analyzing the data and being able to take trading decisions that can be executed on decentralized exchange.
At CBVC, we've always believed, and it's actually rooted in our investment strategy, that we view blockchain as a catalyst technology for the next tech megatrends, whether that is artificial intelligence, IoT, technology around ESG. We believe that, as Benedikt said, that blockchain is providing the infrastructure rather than rails for that technology. So I don't view, and I don't think you guys would disagree, that I don't view AI and blockchain as separate. I think that they are in every way complementary.
Okay, and Benedikt, why would AI companies use blockchain?
That's such a good question, because that's something that we've really seen, which is AI builders. And there's a little bit of, sometimes even I would say, some, not so positive perception of the Web3 space within the AI space, right? Like some AI builders, they're measured by just pure ARR, how many users. The metrics are much harder than I think in the Web3 space. And some of them, view blockchain with a bit of a sense of doubt. But then they realize actually in their product roadmaps, they need some of this in order for the product to work. And so again, we have this one portfolio company that we're right now have this case, they want to do anonymous training, private training, where actually your training data cannot leave to the hosting provider, cannot land on GPUs actually that know the data that is being trained on. And in order for, people are not going to do it for free, so they need a payment infrastructure for this. And so that's very interesting to see how they're wrapping their heads around, okay, how can we integrate a stablecoin payment infrastructure into that? That preserves the anonymity of the users and the actual trading data.
Interesting, thank you. Moritz, from an investment perspective, does that structural need translate into concrete investment opportunities? And are investors already looking for that?
I have to admit that AI is a little bit difficult to invest into. There are some listed companies, there have been some ETFs, but they do investments in Microsoft and Nvidia. And so for me, I have not yet been able to really find the most valuable point of how to put my money to participate in the potential. And you see these Oracle, Nvidia internal trades, you see these huge investments from Microsoft. This is not directly available because this is kind of, even though there are public companies involved, it's a private area. Whereas for blockchain, I think it's much easier. For me, the power of blockchain is to help you get to prove the reliability of data. And I think that's pretty clear to everybody who's just using an easy LLM. It makes a huge difference if your machine has been reading The Sun or has been reading the Financial Times. And to determine who trained this machine I want to use in my corporation or whatever, and which data, and is that a reliable thing? That's something I think where blockchain steps in to just add to the former question.
Mm-hmm. And Julian, at Chiliz, how do AI and blockchain come together in a tangible way for users for engagement, or fan engagement?
If you look at what a fan token is at the basis, it's a community token. So it's bought by people that have a sense of belonging to a club or to a wider community. So our question has been, how can we make sure that we listen to the community in a better way in order to maybe value or price this token differently? And that's where AI, being able to analyze a lot of data, acting a bit as a fan sentiment oracle, to quote back again the same terminology, that will analyze all the social media, the performance of the club, the match calendars at the match day, in order to see how it can be reflected into the life of the token. So what we have been experimenting is looking at liquidity and price are the oxygen in Web3. So if you're able to affect these two variables via some refined metrics, you're able to really concretely change the life cycle of the token. So what we try to do is on decentralized exchanges, for example, if you stake your PSG and you stake your Barcelona token, we can, based on the match results or the performance of a team, adjust the APR that you're going to get on a daily or weekly basis. Or you can decide that you run a specific competition, you stock your token for 6 months, and then based on the performance of the team that's going to be tracked by an agent, you're going to be rewarded a certain amount of money. Or you can go even further, that the reserve of the token can be inflated or burnt based on the team performance. So all of this aspect for us is just to use AI to analyze a wide array of data to track what the community feels about that token and to reflect it back into the life cycle of the token.
And the price adjustments is made automatically?
Or the price adjustment here will be that you will affect the supply, for example, or you will affect the APR that you can get from that token if you stake it, but there is still a game of supply and demand. But the idea will be to move away from purely supply and demand, but also put into account these different elements of the life of the club and the impact it can have on the token.
And could you envision any new income models for brands, if you like, from a combination of tokenization and AI?
So what AI really unlocks is the ability to create personalized content. So what we're seeing more and more towards the brands, or what we try to do with some of the brands, is having what we call a proof of passion. For example, that you decide to attend the game, that you will get a dedicated reward only solely purely to you, with potentially not even your seat number, but something that showcases that you were there at this very specific moment and that you live a very specific moment of the club, and you get a token, an NFT, or any type of AI reward, the AI generated reward just for you. So this aspect of personalization towards branding and marketing is hugely important for the way brands can now